what I'm going to do is I'm talk a little bit about understanding Google local service ads. We'll definitely get into why I think moving companies, it should be part of your marketing arsenal. And we're going to get what we need to do to make sure we get this right. We're going to talk about how you can manage your budget. And also one of the bigger things that I notice most moving companies don't do is make sure that we're monitoring and adjusting your local ads. Again, you don't have a lot of control, but there's certain things you can do. And we'll talk about troubleshooting, and happy to answer any questions as we go. So a little bit about me. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I've been doing this for about 25 years, and I spent 10 years as a Defense Department logistician. So I was part of the warehousing, transportation. I traveled the country in the warehousing and inventory management system. So I have experience in this world. I've also been a speaker and a mentor for small business owners. I've worked with movers all across the country, and I'm trying to write a book. It's a very unsexy title right now, so I'm going to come up with a more clever title than a complete guide. But I'm a fractional CMO for a couple of my clients, and these are some of my clients here. And I'm also proud to say I'm a Marine Corps wife and an Air Force daughter. So career Marine Corps, he just retired about 10 years ago, but once a Marine, always a Marine. And I've moved pretty much every 2 to 3 years of my life since I was an infant. International moves, local moves, down the street moves, cross-country moves, by myself, corporate, military moves, you name it. I've done it. I've been every move you can think of. So now a little bit about my system and how I work. Now, this is when I look at digital marketing, especially for the moving industry, I don't believe in the one size fits all. And some people have tried this and tried that. I'm not going to go through every little piece here. I will say right now, we're going to talk about this section here, the pay per lead item. So it kind of works with some of the other companies, Moving Leads, Angie's. I just found out about there's so many of them now that I've been researching lately about these specific pay per lead services out there. I'm hearing good and bad, but I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on that. All right, a little bit, what are Google local service ads? And I'm going to talk about the best way to talk about what is a Google local service ad is the difference. And the first is placement. I think you're probably aware it goes at the very, very top above the paid ads, above any kind of the paid ads, the Google, the maps. It's above everything. Usually you get 3 spots of that. And we'll talk about more what that looks like. Pricing is very different. Targeting is very different. We've got local service ads are specifically designed to target local customers, displaying your ads to users within the service that you have defined, typically through a zip codes. You want to choose zip codes. Google Ad allows you more flexible targeting options and what specifically services and geographic areas. Now, so for example, you can't do this from so I'm in Houston. I can't do this and have my ads show up in Dallas. It's too far. Now, if I have a hub in Dallas and I have a Google local address in Dallas, I can create another account and mark it in the Dallas region. But I can't, sitting here in Houston, show ads in Dallas, San Antonio, Corpus Christi. I'm not able to do that. But targeting is definitely meant for the very local. Google guarantees, I think that's one area that's a little bit different. It includes that badge, right? And again, I'll show you some screenshots of what that looks like if you're not familiar with it yet. Provides credibility. So some have the Google local badge, some don't. And it might kind of give it a little visibility in terms of your reviews are showing, the Google little green star shows, and it'll show that the Google guarantee, which is they guarantee that if you're not satisfied, you get your money back. Now, I have not experienced that myself as to somebody doing so poorly that Google comes back and says that. So I don't know what that looks like. I've done a little research on it, but I haven't seen exactly what happens. I haven't experienced it. None of my clients have seen that, but it is there. It's something to think about. In local service ads, Google creates the ad content. You don't have a lot of control over headlines. Paid ads, you do. We have 15 headlines I can create. I can create 3 descriptions. I can upload all kinds of photos. I can have all kinds of site links. You don't get that control with Google local service ads. You get your name, you get maybe 1 or 2 of the services, you get your Google review, and then either you can turn on or off the call or the message. Another area is the ad creation is not sending you anywhere else. We're not sending you to the website. So I'm not creating landing pages. I'm not creating calls to action. That is out of our control. So the biggest thing we want to do is make sure that we have enough imagery. Your Google reviews are high and you've got that Google guarantee in order to compete with everybody else. So the other is campaign management. It's simpler to manage than paid ads. I'll tell you that. From paid ads, we typically have to go in there for our clients about once a week, and we're adding negatives. We're looking at the quality score. We're looking at the budget. We're looking at landing pages. We're looking at ads, and it's a constant review. And then they keep changing their mind about what they think is important. Google Local Service Ads is it's a very simple platform, and you just don't get a lot of control. I think the one control that I recommend people do is making sure you have the right photos on there. I've seen some movers upload like a blank white truck. Well, that doesn't impress people's vision of a brand. So if you have a truck, make sure it's nicely branded, have your logo, guys with the shirts, make sure that's in there, because you're going to separate yourself out from the guys that are not taking the time to put the right photos in there. Lead interaction is also different. Local service ads, you either directly call or you message, one of two things. And if they found you, they might do another search to find your website, but those are the two ways of contacting you. Now, if you have interactions with if somebody calls you at midnight, you better have somebody pick up the phone, or change out the hours that we're only taking phone calls between 8 and 5, and make sure somebody's answering the phone, even if you have to hire a answering service or something. But if nobody picks up that phone at midnight, you've just lost some money, most likely. So I recommend put those hours in or hire an answering service. And next thing is service-based eligibility, only for certain services. So plumbers, movers, electricians, real estate agents now have the ability to have a Google Local Service ad, but it's very, very specific as to what you can do. I can't have a Google Local Service ad. So this is definitely based on service-based industry. I was surprised to see real estate agents are in there now, but it's a verification process. Now, this is just a screenshot. You can choose to do both messaging and calling, or one or the other. If you're going to do this, like I said, with phone calls, you better pick up the phone or immediately call them back. Same with messaging. I've had too many people get a lead 12 o'clock and not answer, return the call until 5 o'clock, because this should be open on the salesperson's desk. It should just be open all the time right there, because the faster you can respond, the more likely you're going to get either a positive reaction from that person, because they took the time, they made the call. So make sure that you immediately respond. The other side to this coin is the faster that you can get back to Google to tell them that it was a bad lead, the faster you won't have to pay for that lead. So we've seen people using this to look for jobs, other marketers, hey, it looks like they're spending money. Let me reach out. So it behooves you to be very, very clear about who is answering this, when, and making sure they do it within 5 to 10 minutes. These are just all the different locations. Most likely it is a metropolitan area type of ad service. They're going after, like here's Washington, New Jersey, Detroit, Houston. So if you're not in these metro areas, you won't see these ads show up on your search results. The other difference about Google Local Service Ads is that there's no ads or keywords to manage. Like I mentioned, we're not creating headlines and descriptions. You're literally just putting up your name, and it's going to connect here. You can see we've got 393 reviews for packet movers. New City Lines is 44 and 436. Nobody here is Google guaranteed yet. We don't have the little green symbol here, but there's no keywords to manage. There's no ad, and there's no photo in here yet. So why should moving companies use GLSAs? Prominent visibility, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about that. Geo-targeting, which is really very important in my mind, especially for movers. If you're targeting for those local areas, I know a lot of the movers, I only want to move in my metro area. I will move you to Dallas and Austin, Or if I'm in Philly, I'll move you to Baltimore, but I'm not driving to Baltimore and picking you up and coming back. So most of the times those are services so you can start in your area and only ads in those areas. Paid ads can do that too, but I feel like the geo-targeting is way more clearer, and you can put those zip codes in there. Backing up, paid ads, you can still put zip codes, and you can put things in place so that people from other areas don't see you. Some people might have VPNs, and so they kind of trick the system, but I've seen this has worked very well when it comes to specifically geo-targeting. I think the other thing is that there is a Google guarantee. That's one way to get you above your competition. You're going to have to qualify for the guarantee, and we'll talk about that too. Paid per lead. You only pay for anytime somebody calls or message, versus pay-per-click and paid ads. You pay for every time somebody clicks. And I can't dispute that. I can't go back and say, hey, these 10 clicks, these were spammers. They were calling me up for jobs, or they were calling me up to buy their crypto, whatever it is. So it's the pay per lead gives you, that's a higher quality lead, I should say. But again, make sure you're in there disputing as quickly as possible. Your reviews also, Google displays reviews to build credibility. So part of the guarantee is you have to keep those reviews up, and you're going to have to make sure you have your insurance in place, and they're going to do a background check. So all those three are part of that Google guarantee. The Google guarantee also is they will pay you back, the consumer. And I'm not quite sure again how that works. Again, I'm not sure, but they will pay you back if you don't follow through with what the services they recommend. Job types only show which specific services you want to pay for, and it's very, very little configuration, literally toggles. We don't do junk removal. We only do local moves. We don't do international moves. So you can be very clear about the types. Other thing about what I like about it is it's the top three. Now you'll notice at the very, very top, we have Google guaranteed, access moving, so they got a little green button in there. And if I hover over that, it's not live. If I hover over that, it'll say what that means. We guarantee these people. Versus AWise and Instacart Go don't have the Google guarantee. They've got 71 reviews, 19 reviews. We can see here 1 year in business, open now until 7 p.m., 5 years in business. So when you look at your competition, it has a little bit of sway. The more you provide Google those types of answers, maintain those reviews. Oops, I went too fast. And again, you're above the paid ads, which can get tough. Paid ads can get super expensive. And if you're not careful, and again, if you're not always in your paid ads, monitoring those, putting those negative keywords in there, monitoring your landing pages, paid ads can be very expensive. Visibility, you are, again, at the very top. First thing people see, the little green Google guaranteed shows. And if I want, I click more movers in Richmond, more movers in LA, and I can see specifically Google guaranteed reviewers for that specific location. So the visibility is there. And I've seen it where we've turned this thing on and the leads just start coming in. The problem is you have to be on them. You can't let them go dead more than an hour. I say call them back immediately. Geo-targeting is what I was talking about earlier. You can put your zip codes. And one thing I like about this is, say I like to work in the Houston metro area, but I know there's a few zip codes inside here that are industrial, that are warehousing. I can exclude those service areas. So if somebody's in that area, it's somebody I'm not really targeting, I don't want my ads to show. On the flip side, we've got a place called Bel Air, which is kind of the higher end, so yeah, I'm going to put those zip codes in there for sure. And you can be very specific about where you want your ads to show. So for example, in this case, this client, he doesn't want to go into Brenham. I mean, he will, but his target market is local moves. And, we've got paid ads that are going to College Station and Brenham and Galveston. But again, Google really wants this to be a very local. They wanted you to stay in that metro area. I believe going to College Station is about a 2-hour drive. So back to the Google guarantees. Business verification is super important. You're not going to have this unless you verify your business. And it includes verifying your business has the necessary licensing, your insurance to operate, and the insurance has to be maintained. So every year you're going to have to upload your most recent insurance. It will it'll tell you if you haven't done that, which will cost you more. So if you're not in there with your insurance and it says, hey, you're not going to show the Google guaranteed, and it'll probably cost you more in the auction. Make sure you have a background check. And that means the company, as well as the field workers, the drivers, the people working. You want to make sure the owner, you want to make sure you have that background check. It's going to help assure customers of their safety when they're dealing with your business. The third thing is you want to do with the Google guarantee is review and reputation check. They're going to look at your business reviews, your ratings, and you're going to have to maintain that quality level. So it's not when you first get in there, if your reviews start to kind of dwindle and you went from a 4.8 and all of a sudden you're at a 4.2 or 4.1, it's going to cost you more, but it also might lose your Google guaranteed. I think 3.0 is the minimum. So let's say you go below that, you'll lose your Google guarantee. So 2.9, 2.8 reviews, which in my mind, you have other problems. There's other things going on other than losing your Google guaranteed. So that would be, in my mind, a bit of an internal issue that needs to have some discussion. You're going to have to agree to the Google guarantee. If you pass everything above, you have the option to opt in to Google guarantee. Now, again, remember that it's only covers services booked through the local service ad. This is for customers that do book. It's also noting that Google badge may not be available in all regions, and be sure to check the policies in your region and the availability in your region. So I'm sorry, back to the Google guarantee. This means Google may compensate a customer, I'm trying to get the words right, up to a certain amount if they aren't satisfied with the quality of work, and the amount varies by region, state, country. So you just want to make sure you're very clear on what that means. And again, it's through the Google guaranteed. Once you receive your Google guarantee badge, you'll start showing local service ads. And again, you don't have to have Google guarantee to show, it just helps. This is an example in the background. You can see the proof of insurance lapsed. So they want to re-verify you. And I believe this is an instance where it's just too expensive now because they haven't gone in and updated that proof of insurance. So, it requires a background check. If you want to get that Google guarantee and that visibility, you just want to make sure all of this are kept up to date. Again, you're paying per lead. You only pay when somebody calls or messages you. And you can see this is what it would look like in the back end. And you can see there's 70 active. This is just an old screenshot. So most often you would have booked and some completed. You'll see here where it says this particular call was made and not charged. So we went back to them and said this was somebody, forget it was spamming them or something, but they took that fee back. They weren't charged for that fee. You can see we did it a couple of times in here. That's where you really have to make sure. That's where this is going to make a bigger difference rather than pay-per-click. But you're going to have to, and they'll listen to you, but it has to be within a reasonable time, and it has to be a reasonable reason. You can't just say, well, they wanted to move, but it was not the type of move we want. You can't say that unless it's like, well, they came in for an international move. We don't do international moves. And in your service areas, you've actually toggled international moves off. Then you can tell them that. But you have to be very clear. And I'll show you again, that's a little further, a screenshot what that looks like. But so the reviews, and you'll notice here, we've got You Move Me Phoenix is 334, 4.9 reviews. They are guaranteed. They get that nice little check mark in there, versus Access Moving and AWise Move Inc. don't have that. You can see there's a little bit of a separation between the two. And if I Google this, I click details as a consumer, I see now what that means. So there's a bit of an incentive from a consumer standpoint about why I would want to have somebody that's Google guaranteed. Now you'll notice here on the right, I kind of covered it. Axis, which is this one here, just has a blank white truck. Now I would have had the really nice truck, and there's only 2 pictures too. If you looked at the You Move Me Phoenix, I think I've actually got that live here. Yeah, we do. Access Moving, look, there's one photo, it's a blank truck, and then we just got some moving boxes. But I believe someone like All My Sons, the boxes have the brand, the guys are moving, the branded truck. things are in place. So I think what I would recommend when you get into this is spend a little bit of time picking the best photos of people at work, of an organized truck, an organized packing situation. Everything's all in its place, no safety concerns. We don't have lunch everywhere. It's organized, and your logo is important. I get it. Everyone loves their logo, but people want to see people in these photos. So go back, double check that. Again, low budget movers, barely seen truck. That's it. 2 pictures, logo's not quite visible. 1 photo of a guy, which again, it's okay, but I would have spent a little bit more time. I think there might be another photo. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There's more photos in there. Missed that. So there we go. There's a truck, a branded truck. But again, look at all the photos he's got in there. He filled this sucker up. That's what you have control over, is the photos. Now you can't add ads. You can't have ads in here. So it has to be just regular photos. They will deny you on that. Here's another example. All Service Moving doesn't even have photos. So I would recommend that they add some photos in here. All right. So again, there's your Google Guaranteed. It gives you a little bit of information. This service comes with a money back guarantee up to $2,000, lifetime cap, request reimbursement. Within 30 days, restrictions apply. So there's some restrictions. And again, this is $2,000 lifetime cap. I put myself into Phoenix at this point, so that could be a Phoenix thing, but it could be across the US. All right, moving on. Job types. This is really, really important. You want to make sure you have the right jobs that you're willing to take on. Turn off the ones you want. I've had clients just turn this on and walk away. And then we find out later that they had this running and they're like, we're just getting all these crazy job requests. We don't do junk removal. We don't do individual piano moves. That's not what we do. Well, turns out they had all of these on. They don't do out-of-state moves. Turn off other. I only want to be seen for local, in-state, oversized item moves, packing, unpacking. If that's it, turn those on. Everything else, turn them off, because you're going to get leads for that. And you're going to wonder why. Senior moves, vehicle transports, they don't do that. They don't do standalone oversized item moves. They're not going to show up and move your big trunk or your big cabinet only. That's just not what they're going to do. Other movers might. They might turn that all on. Good. But just know that those are the kind of leads you're going to get. So again, easy to use. I've already been through that. Now, let's talk about how to make sure we get this right. I've already kind of been through a lot of it, but I just want to reiterate the importance of making sure that all of this is in place in order to get the most impact out of it. A complete business profile. Your Google business profile should be complete. Fill that out as much as you can. Put the descriptions in there, put any accessibility things in there. Start using it like a website. Post in your Google business profile, put your descriptions in detail. So in your Google business profile, you can have, and let's see if I can find an example. Let me see if I can find All Service Moving in Phoenix and see what they come up with. All right, so here's All Service Moving. And what I'm talking about here is these are updates, right? And if I click these, it goes to their website. But what I want to see are more services. Let me see if I mean, one of our clients here. Let me do Summit Moving Storage. Now you can see I've added products. We have completely filled out services and products inside their Google business profile. We actually spent time writing descriptions in here. Visit the site, a photo that relates to that description. So do your best to really spend time and really pump this up as much as possible. Drive people to reviews. We've got 303 Google reviews, 4.7 stars. We've constantly uploading the most recent photos. We're constantly adding the most recent blogs. So make sure this is complete. And when you are, so that means when you come back over here and you're starting to build out your Google local service ads, it'll be a more complete, it'll be easier for Google to kind of verify you. Like I said earlier, when it comes to any of these leads, make sure that you respond as quickly as you can. Try and do it within the first couple of hours. You'll get a better response from Google and they're more inclined to agree. So again, make sure your services are in place. If somebody's coming in and says, I want an international move, and I don't do that, I want to make sure I go back to Google and decline that lead because I've already mentioned in my services, I shouldn't be getting international moves. And the flip side, same with spammers, people, and in my business, there's just marketers out there that are just bombarding you like, oh, we can do this for you. And they're going to use your ads as a tool, knowing you're spending money on this. So obviously you're going to spend money on marketing. So let me reach out to you and let's see what we can do. So anyway, you want to go back to Google and tell them, hey, this isn't a legit lead. I want my money back. So but don't wait a month, as quickly as you can. Gather those positive reviews. Make this, I know some people use smart moving. I've seen really good results with smart moving. So the minute I think there's a tool in there that I'm not sure where it is that the contracting point, or is it when you finish the move, it instantly sends a Google review. Put that in place and make sure you start gathering as many Google reviews as possible, because one bad review is going to immediately lower your grade. But the more you put more good reviews, that bad review starts to go down. So keep constantly asking for reviews. Google for sure. Try and get them on your other platforms as well, Facebook. And, if you're doing Angie, if you're doing other lead generation type of tool, make sure you get those reviews on there. Respond to those reviews. They're looking at that as well. So if you get a review, good or bad, respond promptly, professionally, whether it's a nasty, you didn't do right, you broke my grandmother's piano, how you're awful. Respond very calmly and in a positive way. Talk about the claims process. If you have questions, just be very upfront and clear. Don't ignore it. So if you have any bad reviews right now, that's your homework. Go back, answer those, use ChatGPT. It's a fabulous tool if you don't know what to say. Crack open ChatGPT, tell them the review that you got and say, I need a professional review. It'll give you the best review ever. It's amazing. And I say use it. Copy what they do. Obviously, you want to tweak it, make sure it makes sense and it comes from your voice. Put that in there as a response. Great way of just knocking those out. And then also any positive reviews, answer those as well. Maintain your license. Again, Google local service ads is, if that license, they'll shut you down, or it's going to cost you more. So maintain that insurance, upload it, you'll get notified. Make sure your business licenses, your insurance are up to date. I'm not sure, I haven't had any experience of them coming back with any security issues. I think one time you do it once and that should be it. So, but if you guys have any experience of that, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Set a competitive budget. You'll be setting a weekly budget for your local service ads, and just make sure your budget is competitive, but within the means. Remember, Google local services is per lead, not per click. So I've seen 20 to 25 cost per lead. But again, if you have Google Guarantee, if your reviews are good, you've got the right photos, all that, it helps lower that cost per lead. Track your leads. Now, monitor where your leads are coming from. We use a tool called Go High Level, and all of them should be going into your CRM of some kind. I think there's no automatic way. You have to export. I haven't been able to see a way of automatically adding Google local service ads into our system. I don't even believe HubSpot or Smart Moving even does it. So, but there is a way to export and import. So that's something you might want to do on a daily basis, weekly, once you've responded. But I would definitely monitor it, because you want to be able to know from an ROI standpoint, am I making good? So when I move people through the platform, or I'm sorry, through the pipeline of a sales lead, when I come to the end, where did that person come from? When I finally get paid, move is done. Did it come from an LSA, a paid ad, an SEO? So track that. It's going to be really important. The other thing is maintain the quality of service. You're going to, and again, it just goes back to the reviews. The Google Guarantee badge increases your chances of being hired. It for sure does, because again, it's a guarantee for the consumer. The little badge shows up, but good service ensures satisfied customers, and most of them are going to leave positive reviews, and they're going to recommend your business to others, but it's all part of that Google Guarantee. And I think the last thing, and like I've mentioned before, to get the most out of LSAs, one of the ways that you have some control over these ads, because you have very little control, is high quality photos. So again, I was showing you guys earlier, I think here, they don't have any photos, versus all my sons has a bunch of photos of people at work. I think it was, who was the other one? All Service? Who was the other one? low budget. Yeah, these guys. They had a bunch of photos. So upload photos of all the different, if you only do packing, you do piano moves, upload international moves, upload photos that represent that. And people love looking at people. They want to see the people. So be sure you do that. All right. And again, complete. I'm going to read through this. So again, complete your business profile. Make sure you filled everything out as much as possible. This is an instance where it expired. And so they have to go back and upload that again. So one other thing too is respond quickly. So this is what it looks like. Make sure that you are put some notes in there. So in this case, oops, it already booked, but that is something I would go back to Google and dispute that. Like by the time they called and said they already booked, or by the time they called, they had already booked. So I don't know if this was a day, an hour, but that's what I'm saying. When you get these leads, you got 5 minutes, call them immediately. Don't wait. And gather reviews, respond to all reviews, no matter what. And maintain your license. I think I've said that too many times now, because you will lose that Google guarantee. You will suspend your ad and your listing might be removed. Make sure you have a competitive budget. These are different options here. You have different options of maximizing the leads. Average weekly budget, $734, and they give you some targets in here. But make sure you manage this, make sure you're watching this, and make sure, and when you look at your leads, you're moving them through as to contacted, booked, completed, so you can track that. Again, tracking your leads, archive them. You can see these guys are in there all the time because there's no new, no active, no booked, all completed. So they're in there every day, moving people through the pipeline here. Maintain your quality of service. Keep this up. And this is from the Google local service ad side. This is what they see. High quality service ad, high quality photos. Don't just have 3. Don't have a truck without a blank white truck, because that says to a lot of people, you're a fly-by-nighter. You aren't somebody that is going to be around tomorrow. You might be hiring people, maybe day contractors. That's what a blank white truck says to a few people. You're inexpensive. You probably started last week. So if you're going to show a truck on your Google local service ads, brand it, or don't even put it on there, or brand it, get it wrapped of some kind. Make sure that the boxes are in there, but put people. People need to be in their t-shirts and their shirts. They need to have hats. You know, spend a little bit of money, get some professional photos if you can. It's okay with you want to do your iPhone. They're great now. Get some candid shots. One thing I like to recommend to people, this is the problem I'm finding, and this is just a total side note. When people are talking about social media, they hire us to help with the social media. We can only do so much for you. There's only so many holidays and so much content I can share for you. The best thing is coming from you, your photos from your team. So what I recommend, it's tough. These guys are, they're busy, they're tired, it's a long day. Incentivize this. Give them like wherever they like to go for lunch, Chick-fil-A's or some restaurant that they like to drive through and pick up coffee, whatever. Give them a gift card for every, I don't know, 25 photos that they upload to the Dropbox, so that you have real time every day, tons of photos. But then also I would spend a little bit of time on getting a professional photographer if you've got the budget. Again, iPhones nowadays, I'm upgrading to my 15 just so I can get the new camera. All right, managing your budget. This is how you're going to manage your budget. Respond to those leads quickly. If you have bad leads, you have to dispute them. Understand the cost. Cost per leads can vary depending on factors, geographic, industry. So understand what your typical cost per lead is. Understand how much you're willing to spend per week. What are your advertising goals? Your budget needs to align with those advertising goals. You want to aggressively acquire new customers and grow rapidly. You may want to invest more money in your ads. Some people are a little bit more established. They've got the brand, the messaging's out there. They may not need to spend as much money on this. It could be seasonal as well. We all know the season is coming to an end now. So your budget should be probably placed in the very beginning as people are starting to think about their move, or you start moving your dollars into other areas of moves. So I've got one client that gets into temporary moves when people have to move out of their house because of a water leak, right? And so he'll come in, and that's an extra, it's a service that he provides, and he's working with insurance company to pick up the moves and temporarily store that. So where are your goals going to be? We're going to access your competition. What are they doing? If you're in a competitive market, which for us in Houston and for my other client in Miami, and I've got one in California, very competitive. Buying for the same cut, you may need a larger budget in order to stand out. Set a weekly budget. Start with a budget you're comfortable with. Adjust it as you see results. Understand what's working for you best in your business. And again, seasonality comes into play as well. You want to optimize your profile for qualities. A better profile can lead to a higher conversion rate. So again, spending some time here, spend some time on this, really put some time, get your marketing person to start filling that out, put the services in, put the products in, start posting updates, treat it like you would any other social media platform. Track your ROI. That just goes without saying. You should have some kind of dashboard that shows you your conversion rate. We have that. We send you monthly reports. We have the CRM tool at the very top that gives you how many leads, how many closed leads, what's your conversion rate, just right there on the dashboard. So, and then adjust your budget based on demand. In the moving industry, demand can fluctuate, as I've mentioned, as you all know, with the season. So adjust that budget based on where you are. You might want to increase during the peak times. So March, April's kicking in, put some more money into that. Holiday time, maybe lower the budget, put some money more into long-term SEO works and branding. So as you're, bringing it down, and then as you start your new year, you've got some messaging, some branding. Everyone's starting to know your name. Start putting that, and that'll start kicking in that part. So when you put your money in, people are seeing you, they've heard of you before. So it's important. You have to have a competitive budget. Now, this is not for the weak of heart. You're not going to put $500 a month. That's not what this is for. Even paid ads. I'll be honest, people that come to me, it's like, oh, I want to put $500 in a paid ad. It's not going to go anywhere unless you want to do super hyper little local, just a couple cities. Maybe that might work. But if you want to be competitive, you have to think what your competition's doing. They're spending money. But again, just watch it. And even the best ad campaign, it's not going to make up for poor customer service. As I mentioned in the very, very beginning, if you start seeing a decline in your reviews and you were at 4.7, all of a sudden you're at 3.4, 3.2, it's a little coming to Jesus. We got to figure out what's going on here. What's happening? You probably already know, and you're probably already addressing it by that point, but you want to make sure you keep that up. That's going to affect your budget. All right. Explain why this lead should be credited. That goes back to making sure you're keeping up with your leads. Job not served, it's not in your profile. Remember, you got to have that profile. Make sure you toggle on and off the things you don't do. You're going to put your cities and your zip codes in there. If they come outside from another zip code, make sure you put that in there. Sales call. They're not a customer. They're a sales call. Spam, not human. So make sure you're in there looking at these and immediately get those off. Monitoring, analyze your ad performance, track your rates, monitor reviews. I'm kind of repeating stuff at this point. Check your budget, compare performance across different times and locations. So if you're so I've found a lot of people forget when people come home is when they start looking for movers. So it might be 7, 8 o'clock at night. It might be an idea to look at getting an answering service. Might be a possibility in those off-peak hours that you don't have somebody in the office. That's an idea to kind of make sure if you want to have 24/7 reviews. Test different ad elements, test the photos. Again, one of the few things you can really track or make changes are those photos. And troubleshooting. So these are the 8 items in here that I typically see when it comes to troubleshooting ads. Ads not showing. Was it paused? Did your budget go over? Maybe the business is not in the area where the search is being considered. Discrepancies, invalid leads, make sure you dispute negative reviews. That's one of the things you're going to look at. Google guarantee is not showing. Why haven't you received a Google guarantee badge yet? And that's when you want to go into the profile. Budget running out too quickly, lack of conversions, and profiles not verified. So, all right. Oh, she just left. Oh, so Javier, do you guys have any questions? I'm here to answer anything that you might. I know I feel like I zipped through this, but is there anything I can help you with?
Actually, I ironically, I've had a call today with a company that manages my Google LSA stuff.
Mhm.
Thrive. I don't know if you're familiar with them,
Heard of them. Mhm.
but apparently, the, have a Google guaranteed badge,
Mhm.
but I never see the ad up and running.
Hmm.
I don't know, and I've been trying to get an explanation as to, like, this time last year, I'd go in there and I'd search, movers. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida,
Mhm.
movers Jacksonville, and I would
Mhm.
see it up there every now and then. Now I never see it, and nobody can tell me why, other than, oh, you just need to increase your budget.
And so do you increase your budget?
Well, I haven't yet because I don't want to throw money at it if that's not the problem. If there's
Well, okay.
something else that's broken, so to
Well, are
speak.
the leads coming
Um, I have other lead sources in.
Well,
It's
who's
just,
going in to look at those leads into Google Local Services and seeing those leads? Who's doing that?
I have no idea. I don't know if anybody does. I didn't until you mentioned that today. I didn't know that could even be done.
Someone needs to go in there. Somebody in your
Yeah,
business should be going in there looking at those leads. 100%. You need to own that.
I didn't. Like I said, I
Didn't even.
just in the last half hour found out that was even an option
Mhm.
because I have questioned them, and they. I don't honestly. I don't think they know, but they claim that they're one of Google's biggest customers. So it beats the hell out of me.
Well, it could be, but that doesn't help you.
Because I mean, I've considered trying to leave to have another company manage this, but they claim that if I leave, that I lose the Google guaranteed badge that I got through them. Yeah, that's kind of the reaction I had. I didn't know how that worked either.
It's not
That I,
up to them.
that if I went with some other company, I would have to reapply do the whole thing all over again.
No, so how we work is we add ourselves as users. It's your account, especially since
Yeah,
that should be tied to your Google Local account. That's usually how it works. I had a client, actually a plumber client a few years ago. We could not get it to work because she had created the Google Local service, but didn't know her Google Local business account was on a different account. Because of that, we couldn't connect the two and her ads never ran.
Hmm.
So my concern right now is the Google Local Service ads. Who owns your Google profile? Like
As far as I know, I own the Google profile. I
you
mean,
can start over. Who cares? What's it going to do? Start over.
yeah,
Just cancel them
yeah,
and start over. You've got the insurance. It's your insurance. It's your
yeah,
account. Just, it's upload and now you need to see those leads and somebody needs to be going in there. They might have somebody looking at that, but that's all within their system. So I don't like that unless I'm missing something. I don't see how, because I don't see platforms out there that are pulling this data in that they can control it outside of the GLSA platform.
yeah,
Either
yeah.
way, transparency is a big deal for me. You need to be able to see these people. And what
Yeah.
are you getting? Who's disputing these? How many?
Because I had asked them a while back. Again, this is probably the wrong terminology, just because I don't know any better. Just for whatever my account number was with Google LSA for this, so I could speak to somebody at Google directly. And they said, "Oh no, you can't do that."
Ew.
Because it's all managed through their big, I guess, corporate account. It's
Yeah,
like,
I
does
get
that
it.
make sense?
Yeah, I get it. But that still doesn't excuse the fact that you have no control over your own company's Google. I don't like that.
No.
I don't like that. That doesn't seem right to me. It's the problem I have when I take over an account and we find out that some random employee at some big monster marketing agency created the Google profile and now we can't get it because nobody knows who the employee was.
Yeah.
And they've got 40 reviews. It shows up in map, but we can't get in there. Nobody can. The owner can't. Nobody knows where it is. So it's good that you own it.
Mhm.
I don't see why I personally, I would call Google myself and I'll see what the Google phone number is for Google Local Service as. Tell them this, like, I want to separate myself from this other company. What's the process? Talk to them outside and see if you can make some progress that way. For me, I say, hey guys, cancel the account. I'm starting it myself on my own system. Because you start over. I mean, it's not like starting another Google business profile or to start over with 0 reviews. It's the same reviews.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. I just knew, that I would see call volume when the Google guaranteed ad was running.
Yeah.
When it's not up, I get nothing.
Yeah. Who knows what they're doing though, but
A lot of
that's,
competition out here.
yeah. But that's the transparency. That's important.
Yeah.
You know, where did this phone call come from? Did anybody dispute it because it was a spam call? We've got a client out in California. He was just getting overwhelmed with spam calls. And this was pay-per-click. This wasn't the Google local service ads, the pay-per-click stuff. And so we had to spend really an enormous amount of time trying to figure out a way for him to stop getting people looking for jobs. So we put a career page. We're not hiring. We put in like every negative word you can think of, like career, job, salary, everything, but what it just turned into was that they would Google a certain larger phrase. And when that's just this thing now, like, it's just like marketers. Oh, they must be spending money. They must be hiring. And they'll just call them out of the blue and we can hear it. First 5 minutes, it's a job, someone looking for a job. But
I get plenty of those.
Yeah, you can't beat it. You just have to know it's just the world. But from Google local service ads, you can dispute those and not pay that money. And I would ask.
Speaking of disputes, I have actually, I have very few bad reviews. And most of them are not related to me. I have one that's for a company of a similar name in Chicago. Never done a job in Chicago. That's what that one is. There's one down in Tampa that and I figured out what that is. My company name is Premier Movers. There's a company down in Tampa called Premier Movers for Less.
Yeah.
That's what this review is for, not me.
Yeah.
I've tried to contact Google to get them removed, but they won't remove them. Is there a way to, or do you know of a successful way of doing that?
2 ways to do it. There is a way to ask them to be turned off and dispute the review. It doesn't always work, but I would for sure respond to the review saying, hi.
I've done that.
Yeah, there's not much you can do. I think you just got 2 options, and Google's really bad about, they're just bad about it. It's across the board. Everyone has that problem, but
All right.
I think as long as you respond, and it sounds like you said you got a really great review anyway, you just bury them, just get more 5 stars.
That's what I'm trying. It just takes so many to counterbalance the one bad one.
What's your process right now? What are you doing to get the reviews?
Actually, I use Smart Moving.
Yeah.
And I was gonna interject earlier that when you finalize the contract, it's automated to send the contract and a review request to the customer. And I have embedded in the review request a hyperlink to the Google review.
There you go. Yeah. We used to have a system, but our client was like, I think we're going to use Smart Moving. We tend to have, it's a better response. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah, they get it immediately and they don't have to go look up Google, figure out how to do a review. You just click it and just sometimes they'll just do a 5-star and no comments. But just because it's just 2 clicks and they're done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I say stick with it. Javier says, how about if a company is in the process of the insurance information, can the company start an LSA without the proof? I don't believe you can start. I think they're going to pause it until you upload everything. You can't, I think I've seen them start, but they don't last long. Like the LSA will start, but it'll only, first off, you'll pay more. And I've seen them get paused. So I would do everything you can to get all the documentation in place, insurance included. Because again, it's the Google guarantee as well. So if Google can't guarantee that you have insurance, they're not going to guarantee you. So it'll probably run, but again, you'll pay more because your ads won't be as visible. So, but yeah. Anyway, that's kind of about it here. So Roger, what is the first thing you're going to do when you're done here? You got 3 things. What are the things you're going to do based on this conversation here? What do you think you might do?
I don't know. Like I said, the Google stuff has been something I've been trying to get more information on for a while. And actually just had another Zoom call earlier today with my rep at Thrive, who had got some information from someone who I thought was with Google LSA, but that turns out I don't think he was. He was just sort of try to interpret the information. And again, I'm the same place where I was before. Whereas just the only solution is increase your ad budget and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's not
So
good.
no.
I don't like that.
And now
Um,
knowing that there actually is a way to go in there and track within Google LSA, and nobody's ever told me that over the last year, I'm kind of pissed off. So I guess that's my first action item, is to figure that out.
Yeah, you need to separate it out. You need to know exactly how many came from Google local service ads, how many they disputed. I would ask those two questions. How many did you guys dispute in the last 30 days? And I want to see a report.
I'm willing to bet I'm gonna get deer in the headlights look.
Oh, and that would concern me a lot. That's good for me to know. Now, if you want, this is a spreadsheet that I have. Feel free, go ahead you can download it. It's free, and it'll help you kind of document and prepare what your marketing budget might be in different areas. And it's a neat little tool. It'll populate different areas. The calculations are in there. Simple. Go ahead and download it. Happy. See if that's helpful to you when you're talking about, where should I money spend and just rolling the dice. See if this might help you do that. I have an internet checklist. Again, just download it. All is good. And then, if you want to have a bigger conversation, Roger, happy to talk again. You'll probably get a follow-up email with me. And but that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys sticking through. I almost did it. I was trying to get it under an hour, but it's all good. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate your time, everyone. Thanks so much. Awesome. Did you want to say something, Roger?
No, thank you.
All right. Thanks,
I
guys.
actually booked a job while you were talking, so it was good.
Oh, hey. Well, good luck. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye.